Hey folks, Pete back with the River Kings. How do I stay warm while kayaking in winter? So I've been getting a lot of requests for this lately, so I figured I'd make a quick little video. Perfect timing. It's the middle of winter. That's probably why I'm getting the requests. No one seems to ask about this during the summer. Makes sense. However, that's the best time to start getting your gear together so you're prepared for when it gets cold. That makes sense. Everyone looks for this stuff when they feel like they need it the most. However, it's a lot easier to find a lot of this stuff in the warmer months when not everyone's out there looking for it. But let's dive right in. First and foremost, you're gonna want yourself a good dry suit. This is my Immersion Research Devil's Club. I absolutely love this dry suit. It is the driest dry suit I've ever used. I think it's the best. It fits me perfectly. I got the halfway between a medium and halfway between a large. They offer the half sizes there, so if you're too tall for a medium but you're too skinny for a large, this would fit perfectly, or vice versa. If you're too short for a large but you're not skinny enough for a medium, I don't know who that would be, but if that was someone like you, then maybe this size would fit as well. What? No, me? No, yeah. Cut. So yeah, first thing you need is a really good dry suit. And you've seen my other videos. I've tested the Alibaba, I've used NRS, I've used a lot of these other brands, and you're kind of gonna get what you pay for money-wise. If you cannot afford a good dry suit, any dry suit that's gonna keep you mostly dry and warm is gonna be exponentially better than kind of anything else that's out there. So if you can't afford the IR, the Kokatat, the NRS, all the good stuff, at least try to get some kind of knockoff or some kind of lower end thing as a matter of life saving, or maybe save up your money and get something good. But yes, IR Devil's Club, highly recommend it. This is where it all starts. Everything else is kind of worthless without the suit. I would talk about all the other ways to people try, like ponchos and rain suits and wetsuits and all that, and I've done some of that back in my early days. But I'm here to tell you, it should not be a part of a serious consideration. A dry suit is the answer. Go get yourself a good dry suit. So before we start, everything I'm using, there's a link for in the description if you want to go there. Some of them are Amazon products, some of them are not, but at least you'll know what I'm using. And I'm gonna talk about why I use it and why I've come to the decision on this. There's more than one way to skin a cat. There's other items out there, but this is what I use after all these years. And not all of it's gonna break the bank, which is a good thing. Let's just jump right into it. I have this, I don't even know where I got it, but it's a pair of Columbia fleece pants. They look like they have a zipper or a fly, but they do not. We'll talk more about that later. Heavyweight fleece pants. The thing I liked about them is that there was a stirrup on the bottom, and that kept the pants from riding up when you're putting on your dry suit. Extremely annoying phenomenon when you're putting pants into a dry suit and your pant rides way up. Oh, it's the worst. So yeah, that would take care of this. The reason I mentioned the fly is that that was the downside. If this had a zipper, I would probably be more apt to use these than I do. But my dry suit has a relief zipper on there, so when it's time to use the relief zipper and you have no fly or no zipper here, that makes things a little more complicated. So for that reason, functionality, it wasn't the best fit. The second reason I moved away from these is that that's really hard to look cool in after the run and before the run. Now you can, as long as you're driving to the put-in, that's great. But for that few minutes when you get out with other boaters, it's not a big deal. But you know, if you're driving a couple hours from your house and you stop at a restaurant or you stop at a gas station, you're wearing this, you're gonna lose some cool points, folks. And that's just the long and short of it. So I moved away from the pants into a fleece line pants. This is Jerry is the brand, G-E-R-R-Y. They're kind of a nice, real stretchy fabric, and but the beauty of it is they are fleece lined on the inside. So if it's a cold day and I'm gonna need a little extra insulation. Anything below 40 degrees, I'm gonna put these pants on. And if it's above 40 degrees, 45 or above, I'll probably wear something uninsulated, like just regular non-cotton, stretchy, but you know, semi everyday pants that you can wear to and from the river and not look weird. But I love these Jerry pants. They got pretty stretchy waist, so you want like bunch up your waist too bad. It's not constrictive in there. You don't want to like have blood being cut off in your circulation. So having something that'll move with you while you're in the boat is important. But yeah, fleece lined pants, I just wear that. I don't have to layer on a cold day. It's the pant and the fleece, and it looks great coming to and from the river. And like I say, with the good dry suit, this is bone dry when I get in. I can paddle all day. Whether I get to camp or whether I get back to my truck, whatever I'm doing, I literally take off the dry suit and it's dry down to the cuffs. My socks are dry, everything's dry. And I drive right home in the same pants I was wearing, so no need to change. Love these pants. So that's my pants. Again, if it's warm, but I still need a dry suit, if it's warmer, above, definitely if it's above 50 degrees, I'm not gonna wear those pants. It'll be too much in there. I'll just wear cool or any kind of pant really. I just like a stretchy fabric that's not cotton. So that's what I use for pants. Socks. Darn tough wool socks. Wear a pair of wool socks. Obviously the thicker the pair of socks, possibly the better. You don't want your socks to be so thick if the shoes you're wearing are not extra big and your socks are too thick, and then you have the dry suit sock, your foot's mashed into that shoe and it's real tight. Constricts your blood flow. It's all about the blood flow. If that happens, your toes are gonna get cold and numb. If your socks are too heavyweight and your pants are too heavy and your top's too heavy, you're gonna sweat in the dry suit, and then your feet are gonna be cold when it cools back off at the end of the day. So just the right weight pair of socks. If it's a super cold day, pretty thick sock like this. If it's not as a cold day, I'll wear a much thinner sock, but wear a wool sock in there. Keep your feet warm. All right, up top, I just have this shameless plug for this River King silk weight shirt. It's basically a poly shirt, no cotton. It's lightweight, stretches really good, super comfortable. Even if it's wet, it's comfortable. So that's important because you might sweat. Likely you're gonna sweat. If it's above 50 degrees, 55, easily 60, you know, one of those weird times when you're gonna need a dry suit, but maybe it's a warm day in winter, but the water temperature is still really cold, so you don't want to risk a swim exposure. You're going to need some kind of top. That is all you're going to need. That's all. And you want to be a little cool before you start paddling. If it's colder than that, I like a crew neck, no zipper, no nothing, fleece top. And this is Guide Gear. Again, links in the description. I've been seeing this around. A lot of people have had them. It's only like 20 bucks on Amazon. Oftentimes I'll pop into my local Goodwills or something like that and look for fleeces. Sometimes they have them, sometimes they don't. I've been striking out lately. But yeah, this is the fleece top. I like to get a little larger than I might normally get because I don't want constriction in there. I want just a little bit of loose fabric. It's better. That is all I use on top of the shirt under the dry suit for just about any weather. If I'm paddling and I have on that fleece lined pant, the shirt, and that fleece, and then a dry suit, that's it. Wool socks. That's what I wear underneath. On the last trip, we were at the coast. I paddled with my beanie. Always have a dry beanie for when you get to camp because you don't want to bring a wet beanie into camp, into your hammock, any of that. So when you get to camp, you need to dry off, so you should have a dry bag with your sleep clothes, your dry clothes in there. But yeah, I'll definitely paddle with a fleece on big open water if it's the kind of water where a helmet's not required. Sea kayaking, lake kayaking, things like that. Keep your head warm. All right, my helmet is a Sweet Rocker, and these are so warm. I don't actually need the little scully under there with this helmet because my head's never cold. It just doesn't get cold in this helmet. There are earmuffs you can put on too if it's a really windy, cold day. Let me find those. All right, there's the earmuff. It snaps in. You just run your chin strap through this, the different years had different designs, but basically that's it. And now I am warm ears on the water. I found this year I haven't actually put that on, and I haven't really needed it. It can get pretty cold out there, so if you're one to get cold ears, that's definitely something you're going to want to do. Yeah, earmuffs if you need them. In the Sweet helmet, you can take them out. Super warm helmet, keeps my head warm. If you're one that feels like that's not enough, let me show you the Scully. All right, so this is the skull cap. You put it on. This is an old bomber gear. Looks really cool. So that goes on. It's real tight, but it's neoprene, kind of another layer of insulation on your head. Helmet goes right over that, and you're warm. If you're paddling, again, open water, no need for a helmet, then you don't need that. Just put on a fleece beanie, you're set. All right, last but not least, your hands. Your hands are gonna need something. This is a pair of pogies. This is a Stolquist pair. These are neat because when not in use, they're real thin around the wrist area, and you can roll them up around your paddle and snap them shut. But the ones I like are the IR. All right, these are my immersion research pogies. When I first got these or saw these, I'm not sure I liked them because they were a little heavier, a little more robust material, so they felt heavier. They didn't feel quite as smooth on my hand as some of the nicer fabrics, so I thought. But however, these are by far the best pogies I've ever used. Not only are they like warm, steaming warm, my hands have never been cold in a pogie, but here's why it's important to have this kind. One hand goes in this pogie all the way to the paddle, all the way in. That's very important, especially if you're paddling and you need to reach out and do something, get your hand back in. A lot of the other brands, and let me demonstrate, when you put this on there, just pops right around the paddle shaft there, Velcros, so that's there. This is not as much a one-hand operation. This takes a little finagling to get in there. Now it's in there. But sometimes you have to bite it or use the other hand. It's not as quick. That can fold up. It can fold down, and then how do you get your hand in there? That's just not as fast as every time. And that rigid structure allows you to get it in one hand every time, instantly keeping control. Now, I know what you're gonna say, they're upside down. I thank Dina Gates for showing me the secret. They are upside down as to how most people use them. However, I found that when holding it in that way, there's a little Velcro band there. My fingertips would get caught in that Velcro, would just feel it all day. And Dina would break her nails on it. And that's why she didn't like it. So I flipped it, and now the bottom of my fingers, no interaction with that Velcro. Just something I like to do. So I know it's upside down. I prefer it that way. Last on the list, your shoe. So I've been using these Warmers brand. They're probably 20 years old. My dad used to have them. He's not used anymore, so he gave them to me. Size 10, that's about a size and a half bigger than what I wear, which is important for your winter because you'll have your wool sock, your dry suit sock, and then everything trying to go into a shoe. If it's not at least a size bigger, it's always gonna feel cramped and crowded and uncomfortable. So for your winter shoe, where you're gonna be wearing a dry suit, you definitely need a bigger shoe. So yeah, think about a size to a size and a half larger. And I prefer these neoprene styles. If I'm not gonna be doing a whole ton of walking where I need more sole support and a better kind of a better platform for hiking, these shoes are the warmest. They just keep me warm. I'm comfortable all day. It's a pretty good sole, so I can get out in emergency. But if there's a long hike in or a long hike out or a lot of portaging, I may be more apt to wear a more rigid shoe, a more normal shoe. But that's the comfortable, warm option for me. There's no link on that one. I don't think they make it anymore, but NRS and several other brands offer shoes just like that. So give those a look. All right, that's it. Not much to it. You just have to have the right items. And if you wear this and you feel like I could have been warmer, just plus up another tee or another thermal layer underneath. Or if you're too hot, just scale down. You'll figure it out. Quick note to all those thinking about doing kayak races. in case something like that were to be coming up in the near future. Don't overdress for that. It's easy to layer up to where you feel comfortable, like a normal run. Before the run, you may feel, oh, it's cold, I need to put another layer on. Don't do that. It's going to be miserable. You're going to get so hot and sweaty because you're just pumping as hard as you can down that river, and you'll generate a lot of heat, almost to the point of needing to burp your suit sometimes. So if you're into an extreme kind of day, extreme output, tons of hiking, racing a kayak, something like that, definitely layer down inside there. It's not going to be like a normal paddling experience. All right, bonus footage. Almost forgot to talk about it. I don't go anywhere without my River King approved changing robe. When you get to the end of your run and you do have wet clothes for any reason, like you need a new dry suit, or for whatever other reason you just want to change, maybe you stink like a kayaker that's been in a dry suit all day. Changing robe. You can put this on over your clothes, change all your other clothes out from under it, and not be taken to jail for indecent exposure. Highly recommend. This will be sold again in the merch sale in the spring. We sell that each spring and each Thanksgiving. So love this. The point is, have a way to get out of wet clothes at the end of the day. There's nothing worse than driving home or just being miserable because you forgot dry clothes or you have no way to change into them. So that's all I got for you. Pete with the River Kings. Hope that helps. Hope that answers some of the questions. See you on the river.